John Deere 4000 diesel. Let's give him a round of applause, as well as a round of applause for all the volunteers that have been helping us out. They're wearing the green shirts. Shows like this would not be possible without everyone's help and assistance. Alrighty, up next we got a 1969 John Deere 4020. This is owned by Dave and Sarah. It's been in the family since new and never missed a spring. These are the tractors that we like to see. Everybody knows that if you're a farmer and buying a tractor, it's usually a pretty darn big investment. And a lot of these farms have these tractors that have been on the farm since brand new, and it's, you know, the life and blood of making that operation work. Thank you for bringing it out. Alrighty, up next we got Evan. He's driving a John Deere 758 built in 2019. He hails from the Clintonville area, and this little guy is equipped with a PTO and 3-point hitch. Right behind him we got Hunter driving a John Deere 332 built in 1987. It's always nice to have these youngsters get involved. Just like everything, the hobby is always a learning curve. You start with the small stuff like riding lawnmowers and hit and miss engines, and eventually you're driving bigger tractors, and eventually you're putting up more sheds because you don't got room. John Ham's driving a John Deere B. This is a 4-bolt from West Lafayette, Indiana, and it was built in 1935. Speaking of a farmer in the making, we got Boyd Baker driving a John Deere 316 built in 1990. Boyd is 8 years old, going on 22 in farm years. And Carla is right behind him on a John Deere 60 built in 1968. And Kevin on a John Deere 3020 Mini from 1973. This is a custom built tractor from a 110 John Deere lawnmower.
All right, I'll take my turn in here. We got a nice John Deere B coming here, late style battery box under the seat with a little buddy seat on the back. Advertising. Okay, sorry, I'm a little quiet. Thanks for advertising and bringing the flag down through with us. Looking good. 1947. Coming up next, John Deere LI 1946 model, driven by Alex, has an L30 snowplow. 19th from the end of production. Thank you, Alex, for bringing it through for us today. Coming up next, 1936 John Deere B, driver's name James Johnson. Complete restore by Wellflinger, Indiana, grandson. Looking real good there. Thanks for bringing it down. Calm down. Let's bring her in. Looks here like we've got a John Deere model, 1992 model of John Deere 430. Not a 2-cylinder, could be, but not the regular 430. Driven by Jerry Mappin. Model 4 log splitter on front of it. Another 430, 1990 model by Adam with a sycamore mower on it. Thanks to Adam for bringing it down. 1935 John Deere B. Dog spec. Original barn condition. That's the way to bring them. I like them just like that. And a very nice forklift. Thanks for bringing it down. Jump in, you want to know? 1959 John Deere 830, White Lake, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Thanks for bringing it down.
So immediately following the parade at the dyno, they're going to hook up several 820s or 830 John Deeres on the dyno right after the parade, so go check that out.
All right. 1940 John Deere B. This one is a electric start, 4-speed. Quite modern for his age to have electric start. Nice display of the flag. Very good. Come on, I'm showing Jackie it.
All right, this is Vivian Kruger. She's on a B. That looks awesome. 1941 from the Lewis Thizer Farm, Richfield, Wisconsin. Had been shipped new to Hogue and Gum in Jackson, Wisconsin, January 1941. Used on the farm where Cabela's is now. So that's awesome. Great story to a wonderful tractor. All right, up next I've got Lee Carter on a John Deere ATV, year model 05. Bought it brand new for $2,130 20 years ago. Thanks for bringing it. Appreciate it. All right, this is David Kaufman. He's from down around Tennessee. Imagine I know him. John Deere 420 Industrial, a 1958 model. Thank you for coming. All right, David Kemper on a John Deere 3320, homemade it says. 66 model, 20 years to make it. Converted to fuel injection. He sells a kit, by the way, and he's owner of DJ Update. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. All right, this is Reese Hodges on a John Deere 80, 1956 model from Ardmore, Alabama. And if you guys have seen the bee that we're going to be giving away in the morning at 9 a.m., Reese and Brianna's family brought that from Alabama, so thank them for coming. Eric Haldeman, John Deere 3020 diesel power shift, 1965 model. He's got a note in here, I'm a big John Deere fan and have a toy tractor collection as well. Thanks for coming, we appreciate it. Now look at this young man right here. Hold on a second, I don't have his name yet, but he is cruising on this 140. This is Colt. I'm gonna butcher this last name, but I'm gonna say Butcher. A John Deere 140, 1974 with the patio Model 80 cart. And he is cruising and looks awesome. Thanks for coming. Next up, Weston Burchell on a John Deere 3010. And he's got a for sale sign on the front of that, so if anybody's looking. Next up, thanks for coming. We appreciate it. All right, here comes Amy Jacobs on a John Deere 830, 1959 model. This tractor has been featured in an episode of Max's Tractor Shed, and that tractor looks awesome. Love the big tires. Wonderful. Thanks for coming, Amy. All right, we've got Max Jones on a John Deere 4620, 1971 model. He brought it new to the Jacobs farm. It is around 4,800 hours on it. Thanks for coming. We greatly appreciate it.
I'm going to jump in here next just to give you a little bit, Jackie a little bit of a break. I got a personal friend coming here all the way from Nebraska, John Swanson. 1952 John Deere B with a Yakima hitch and a Yakima plow. John lives around Lincoln, Nebraska. We've been friends for a bunch of years. Thanks, John, for bringing it all the way from Nebraska. He brought a bunch of friends with more plows and tractors too, besides this one. Looking good, John. Coming up next, 1944 John Deere B, Mike Fish. Still has the old paint. We like their original tractors. You know they got some long time endurance when they come out. They're still going. 1972 John Deere 4000. Jim Dawes, owner Farley. Oh, I'm going to butcher this one. Deere Ribbon. How's that? Deere Ribbon. Looking good, looking good. 4,000 diesel. John Deere 50, 1953 model, note the window wheels. Harold McCulloch. If I didn't picture that one. Wayne Colonum, Glencoe, Nebraska. John Deere 80, Mike Kessler, 1955 model. Looking good, looking good. Thanks for bringing it. Soroka, the driver. I don't know if I butchered that one. 1946 BW. Completely restored after fine. I'm going to hand this off to somebody else.
Alrighty, up next we got Brian Kemp. Brian is driving his 1937 John Deere DR. These unstyled Bs are a personal favorite of mine. You can get them in several different variations, whether it's the BR, which is the standard version. This same tractor also came in an Orchard model, which has different sheet metal and then different exhaust and intake. Will Kemp is right behind, driving a John Deere 730 diesel standard. This is built in 1960 and it has a pony motor start.
Okay, this is Ty Bailey. He's a former FFA student. We're going to ask him to stop just a minute. This BN will be given away in the morning at 9 a.m. right out here in front of the Classic Green trailer. If you do not have a ticket, please purchase one. This BN was in rough shape before the FFA team at Elkmont, Alabama got a hold of it. It took about 3 parts tractors to get this BN back up and running. So they've done an awesome job. This is a 1949 BN. This tractor was restored by the Elkmont FFA out of Elkmont, Alabama. And in the morning at 9 a.m. right out here in front of the Classic Green trailer, it and the 110 will be given away. We have to say special thanks to this group of kids and this family. The Hargroves brought this tractor all the way from Alabama to Wisconsin. It looks amazing. They did a great job. We cannot thank them enough. Thank you. You can get tickets from them right beside the tractor out back here, or you can get tickets at the front gate. So please come see us for tickets. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, up next we got Frank Whittemire driving a John Deere 830. This is built in 1959. This is one of only 13 sold in Wisconsin in 1959. And it's still owned by the original family. What a beautiful restoration. We thank you for bringing it out. While we're on that note, for all your John Deere needs in Illinois and Indiana and southern Wisconsin, AWH has sponsored our plaques or our cards this morning for our parades. So we want to thank them very much for that. Okay, up next we got a John Deere B built in 1949. And of course my sign is flaring, so we thank you for bringing it out. We appreciate it. Alrighty, up next we got Dave New driving a 1957 John Deere 620. Thank you for bringing that out. It's not often in a parade that the driver of the tractor is filming you. Normally they're getting filmed. But up next we got Joe. He's driving a John Deere 4020 tricycle. This was built in 1968 and was purchased by Jerome Loughy and brought back to the farm in 2005. I'm assuming it went under a brilliant restoration. It looks really sharp. Thank you very much for bringing it out. Alrighty, and right behind him, we have Andrew on his 1947 John Deere Model A. That chrome stack adds at least 3 horsepower, so we're glad that we made those modifications. Thank you, Andrew. as we go through this parade, keep in mind we see a lot of kids driving these tractors. They're the heart and soul of this hobby and keeping it going. So if you see a little guy with a tractor and they're enthusiastic about this hobby, make sure you give them a high five and keep them going, because that's what it takes to keep this hobby going. George was a young man when he got involved in tractors, and that's when he got this John Deere Model B built in 1951. Elmer is up next, driving his John Deere Model B. This was built in 1941 and comes all the way from Smith County, Kansas. Of course, Elmer is sporting the American flag and our POW flags. We'd like to thank him, as well as thanks to all the servicemen and women out there who are doing their best to keep our freedom safe. Let's give them all a round of applause. Alrighty, up next we got Herb driving a John Deere 630 and pulling a 115 chuck wagon. The tractor was built in 1959 and was originally shipped to Grand Rapids, Michigan. The truck wagon is from Port Washington, Wisconsin, and was restored by Lee Sackett of Lee Sackett Restorations in southern Minnesota.
Okay, this is Adam Stein, A Growing Addiction on a 4020 1971, one of the 3 tractors still used on his farm. Thank you for coming. Now this next young man, name is Andy. He's driving a John Deere B 1936 model. The second owner of the Southern Illinois, driven by David, and I'm going to butcher your last name, Cherinsky. Am I even close? Not even close, am I? So this young man did not bring a tractor. He was talking to Andy about his tractor, and Andy said, why don't you hop on and drive? That is what this hobby is about right there. All right, next up is Ray Harris. He's driving a John Deere 630 1959. He's with the Southern Illinois Green Tractor Club. Thank you for coming.
Okay, here comes Miss. This is Churchoff, Missy Churchoff, driving her grandfather's tractor. So how about a family tradition carrying on? This is a 1929 GT, all new in August of April of 49. Still up and running and still driving in the family.
Yeah. Hi everybody, this is a John Deere A840 built in 1960, driven by Lee Sackett. So Lee Sackett owns a restoration shop in southern Minnesota and is known for these world-renowned restorations. This tractor would have been used for pulling a scraper. It was heated or has attachments later on this summer that'll be finished up. And right behind is Karen driving a John Deere LI, also done by Sackett Restoration. It is owned by Dennis Vieger. It was built in 1946.
I think we got the right card here. Levi Parnella, 1936B, if we got that right. Okay, that young man's driving. I'll tell you what, you never learn how to drive a tractor once you get your hands on the wheel. That's what we like it. Thanks for bringing it down. I'll grab this next B also, 1940 Landon Brunk. 1940B, sold new in Westfield. There you go, young man, looking good. Thanks for coming down on it. Coming up next, 1935 to Parshland Brunk. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Looking good, Parshland. And you know what they say, keep your hands on the wheel, on the ground. 4010 diesel, 1961 model. Orville Mondelli. Think I pronounced it right? I hope so. 4010 diesel, 61 model, not to be a flooded tractor, to break out the new generation, and made a lot of history of its own. Coming up next, a 320 standard, 1957 model, Scott Keesh, Expo Quality certified. Looking good, Scott. Thanks for bringing it down. Trying to see where you're from. All the way from Illinois. We're coming up next year with a card in this next one. I can read the front. 1958 420 standard. Another Karst tractor. It is driven by Betty. Pretty hot. Looking good, Betty. A John Deere 420 high drop, 1957 model. Driven by John Curtis. Mountford, Ohio. With the model 31 crop sprayer. Looking good. I love it. We got a 1958 John Deere 720. I can see this by the distance by the steering wheel. Okay. Bruce Dunfire. I don't know if I got it right. Looking good, looking good.
Okay, coming up is Jim Hamilton. He's on a John Deere 1937 Model 62. This is serial number 10 out of the 78 that were sold. These tractors were prototypes for the Model L. Thank you, Mr. Jim, for bringing it out. We greatly appreciate it. All right, up next, we've got Jim Piper on a John Deere B 1952 model. Bought back into the family at our farm auction. Awesome. Family tractors are the best. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you guys being here. Next up, I've got Thomas Koch, and he put his name on here how it was pronounced. Bless you. John Deere A 1937. It's a pulling tractor. Again, it's Thomas Koch, and it looks like his family, and the young man driving is doing a fabulous job. Jason Green on a John Deere 1951B. Thanks, Jason, for bringing it out. We appreciate it. Next up, we've got Jeff Schaefer on a 4320 1971 model, and he's got red written across the front of this tractor. Red is written across the front of this tractor because that was his father's name. So Jeff, thank you for bringing this out. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, so coming up after the parade, roughly around 2 o'clock, we're gonna have a couple of guys out here on the Teeter Totter. I don't know if you guys saw that on YouTube or posted on the Classic Green Facebook page, but Chris Boyens and Dan Meisner. Dan Meisner is on the 50 on this side, on our side of the road here. They're going to be out here and they're going to raise money. They're going to be on this teeter-totter for as long as we can continue to raise money. The money will go toward a scholarship fund that Classic Green will give out in honor of Brian Holst. If none of you know who Brian Holst is, he used to work for Deere. He's been a great part of the John Deere community. He is currently working for Almond Auctions, who is a wonderful sponsor of Classic Green. But Dan Meisner is the current vice president of Classic Green, and Chris Boyens will be on the teeter-totter after the parade, roughly 2 o'clock. Dan is riding the 50 with his nephew. His name is Angus. This family comes from Elk City, Oklahoma to Wisconsin with their tractors. The 50 on the other side is Mike Elward, and he comes from Iowa with his tractor. Missouri, sorry, it's close to Iowa, aren't you? Sorry, I'm in the wrong state. But both of them are on the board of Classic Green. Little Angus is cruising like he knows what he's doing. He's doing an awesome job. Those 50s looks like they could pull in a double tree. They're pretty good. They're matched out there pretty good. So I'm going to turn it over and let somebody else talk to you guys.
Alrighty, up next we got Brett. Brett is on his John Deere 4000. This tractor was built in 1970 and his father bought it new from a local dealer. It was the last tractor that dealer sold. I mean, once a farmer had a 4000, there wasn't no better than that, so they didn't need to sell any more tractors. Alrighty. Up next we got a little man named Oliver, but we won't hold that against him. He's driving a John Deere 430. This was built in 1984. And this is what it's all about, getting these young kids invested in this hobby. Because they don't need spending money later on in life, they can spend it on these tractors. Alrighty, up next we got Samuel Roberts. Samuel's driving a 1951 John Deere Model A. Samuel is 7 years old. And his namesake is of Sam Chatton, his great-grandpa. Looks like they've come all the way up from Avon, Illinois with their John Deere. We're so happy to have them up here. Alrighty, up next we got a really cool tractor driven by Mark Johnston. This is a Model 80 tractor built in 1955. As you can see, it's a tractor of a different color. This 80 was actually belonged and purchased by the Kansas Highway Department and completed with rock and tar splatters. There we go, sorry. So they painted these tractors obviously a different color to make them more visible on the road. It's known as what we like to call an industrial model, which are highly sought after today. Up next we got Andrew. Andrew's driving a 4030 John Deere built in 1974. Most of its life it was used as a cultivator tractor, and it only has 2,700 hours on it. Really cool, thank you for bringing it out. Up next we got Cody, who's driving a 420 John Deere built in 1958. Has a nice wide front end on it. This is also one of those industrial tractors, again with that orange coloration to make it more visible. Probably would have been used on the highway department or in some sort of special application. Floyd is out here with his John Deere 520 that was built in 1956. And this is in loving memory, this restoration of his son, Rich. Thank you so much for bringing this out. Alrighty, up next we got a unique John Deere Model B that was built in 1949. This is a BW and it comes with that factory wide front end. Alrighty, up next we got a 1934 John Deere A that's owned by Ed Blast. This is a unique A. It has the open fan shaft, which is highly uncommon. They went away from that. So we thank you for bringing that out. Alrighty, up next we got Tim driving a John Deere B built in 1941. This unique tractor is equipped with a number 27 rear-mounted loader. They were actually doing demonstrations of this earlier, which I'm sure they'll probably be doing more throughout the weekend. right behind the B building, building number letter G, I should say. They parked us out and do a loading demonstration to show you just how fun it was to load manure spreaders. So, if you want to catch that, make sure you head over there at some point in time this afternoon. They'll probably fire it up again and check that out.
All right, I'm going to jump in here, Marvin. Bosch, I think the name is 1945 John Deere GM. Sold unknown. Okay, the GM was a tractor that replaced the unstyled G during the war years. It was updated to styling, and there was a price increase, but they couldn't do a price increase on a current model that was in production. So they come up with the name GM for G Modern to initiate so they can do a price raise, raise the price. And during the GM, they went from a 4-speed transmission to a 6-speed transmission, and a few other updates. Following him is Larry Laidlaw, 1952 John Deere M. Looking good, Larry. Thanks for bringing the flag to the parade and the tractor and coming from wherever. Here comes another John Deere D, 1934 model. Larry Dowell, granddaughter Jody Bryant. Hello, Jody. Only a 4B2 bottom plow. Looking good. Are you having fun up there, dear? Are you having fun? Give me a thumbs up. I like it too. 1950s style John Deere D. Dave Newwarden. I'm butchering these names pretty bad. Hey Dave, thanks for bringing it down. Looking good. Nice umbrella bracket, cloud clevis. And nice trick. That's what I'll keep you on it too, bad. Trevor New Walker, John Deere GP, 1929 model. Sorry if I butchered the name. Looking good.
All right, this is John Pink on a GP wide tread 1931 model. Thank you, John, for coming. We appreciate it. Next up, I've got Corky, and it's just got one name, so apparently we're infamous. Or famous, one of the two. He's a John Deere GP 1935, the last year of the GP build. Has a number 1 two-way plow behind it. Up next is Kenny on a John Deere GP 1929 model. Thank you, Kenny, for coming. We greatly appreciate it. Up next, we've got Brent E.B. I'm gonna butcher these last names, I'm sorry. It's Brent. John Deere Unstyled B 1937 model. Thanks for coming, we appreciate it. Alright, we've got Harry Mullins on a John Deere 820 Industrial 1957 model. The purpose built for a Hancock scraper. Thank you guys for coming. We greatly appreciate it. All right, up next, we've got Glenn on a John Deere B 1950 model. He says it was his dad's tractor. He grew up on it, and it's the same age as him, 74 years old. And both are still going strong, and hopefully for years to come. Thank you so much for coming. Next up, we've got Bill on a John Deere B 1939 model. It was overhauled in 1963. Working for him ever since, and even used it with a mounted picker. Thanks, Bill, for coming and bringing your B. It looks awesome. Up next, we've got Scott on a model 318 1992 model. He says it's got triple hydraulics, differential lock, high-low, with a 54C belly blade. Thanks for coming, Scott. We appreciate it. All right, next up, we've got Jeff on a number 332 1987 model. He says it's a diesel with a soil mover mini scraper on the back. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, now flying by is Phoenix, that is in the John Deere patio. Apparently he didn't want to be here while I talked about him. He's on a 112 1969 model, and he has the cozy cab and a snow blade. Up next is Mike Kirchhoff on a John Deere 2520 1970 model, and it's a high crop. Coming up is Mr. Allen on a John Deere B 1951 model, and he is pulling a Van Brunt drill, and both of these are featured here today at the Classic Green 25 reunion. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. This is what the show toy is, a Model B and a Van Brunt drill. So coming up next, I don't have a card. Oh, we do have a card. You want me to keep going? Okay. I think it's Carrie on a John Deere 4430 1974 model.
All right, coming up, we have Caden Schmidt driving a 1978 John Deere 4440, built in 1978. Up next, we got Bruce. Bruce is driving a 1938 John Deere B. He brings this to us all the way from Pebble County, Ohio. Thank you very much for hauling that up. If you get a chance to talk with anybody that brought up a tractor, ask them where they're from. We have tractors represented from all across the country here. I know so far today we've seen at least 6 states drive across the parade route. It takes a lot of work to get these things hauled here, and we're greatly appreciative, so make sure you give them a thank you when you see them. Keith is driving his John Deere B that was built in 1951. That one is also from Pebble County, Ohio. Last but certainly not least, from Pebble County, Ohio, is Steve, who's driving his 1951 John Deere B. He is also pulling a 12x7 B grain drill.
All right, I'm going to jump in here and let you guys look at this rusty one coming. It belongs to me. Rick Taylor's driving this 1948 original A. The only thing not original on it is the exhaust pipe and the choke knob. Look at the seat. That's the way I got this tractor from a dear friend neighbor. Told me if I got this running and took care of it, I could have it. It's got a Yakima 1000 hitch on the back that's never been hooked to an implement. We got that on a pallet from someplace. Note the spring seat on the back and the farmer-ized seat cover. If you do look on the inside the axles, there's gunny sacks wrapped around the axles for the way the oil leak. Looking good, Rick. Get her on going. So it's a true testament that things can live for a long time. Never been painted, the hood's never been cut. We had the hood off a couple times, but very original. Coming up next, Jerry Jeffers is driving this 330 utility owned by my son Darren and my other son Dennis. Just got done restoring this thing. It came to the yard in a skeleton on a pallet and a couple of boxes. Thanks, Jerry. Okay. Dick Updahl, 1939 John Deere A. First time off the farm. Grandpa's tractor, right, Dick? So, Dick is known as Opie. He does competition plowing. He's out there with this tractor. Tractor has ran for a good number of years, and he put in a lot of time and parts, and Grandpa's tractor's on the road. Looking good. All right, we got a 720 coming up here next with a truck breaker, 1957 standard gas job. Not a lot of them made. Number one of 520 mil, made new in Canada. Hey, you got a nice tractor up there, Darren. I hope everybody likes this John Deere 8 because that's also mine. Darren Bass, his lovely wife Andrea, and son Brian are up there driving it to the parade for me today. All the parts are John Deere that have been added to it. John Deere D style fenders, John Deere B, late B seats, motorized for grand kid transportation.
Okay, this is Blake Hoffman. He's 4 years old. He's driving a John Deere MI 1952 model. They're from New Jersey. Thank you, Blake, for coming. We appreciate it. Up next, we've got Al and Donald on a 4,000 power shift and a 700 mixer mill on the back, 1972 model. Thank you for coming. They're doing field demonstrations after the parade. Next up, I got Gage Boyens. Oh my goodness, look at this young man. We've watched him grow up. He's on a John Deere Lance D2416 1960 model, built in Mannheim, Germany. Thanks, Gage, for coming. We appreciate you, young man. Next up is Chris Boyens and his dad, Mr. John. They're driving a Veely, series number 28. It's a 5-passenger, 1917, and Mr. John appears to be sporting the same hat they would have worn in 1917. It's built by John Deere's grandson, Willard Veely. All right, up next, I don't need a card, but the young man actually driving is Emmett. Emmett found Jamie several years ago at a show and wanted to drive through the parade. So Emmett finds Jamie at most shows that he's at and asks, can we drive through the parade? This is a 1953 John Deere GW with a 38-inch fixed front end that came from White Bluff, Tennessee. That's my husband driving with Mr. Emmett. All right, coming up next is a big 8020 driven by Ethan Jones. 1960 model. It's number 89 of 100. Thank you, Ethan, for coming. Okay,
Alrighty. That 8020 is the largest lawnmower that John Deere produced, and here's one of the smallest. This is Sarah driving a John Deere 110. This 110 was built in 1966 and has a hydraulic lift with an M&W weed mower on the front. Scott is right behind her with his John Deere 140 that was built in 1970, and this has a posthole digger attachment on it for all your posthole digging needs. Steve Abel's right behind, driving a 1963 110 with a Viking roller and a Brinkley, garden part, sorry. Thank you very much for bringing that out. Clay Arnold brought out his 110 John Deere, which is a 1967, equipped on the front with a cyclone spreader. You don't want to be going into a headwind with that operation. And right behind we have Shane driving his 1966 John Deere 110. This is equipped with a 540 PTO attachment and also a Viking spreader. This is our 110 lineup here. Colton also driving a 110 with a soil mover. Testing 1, 2. Okay, we're back in business. All right, Colton. Kenny. Hey, thanks, Kenny. Kenny brought out his John Deere 140 Patio Edition. This was built in 1970 and also is equipped with a pole digger. So for those that don't know, John Deere did a patio series of tractors, which is a promotional, we'll say, gimmick that, you know, promoted different colors of tractors. They were all painted white, and you could get them in one of 4 different colors, I believe. Yep, 4 different colors. This being the yellow, also blue, orange, red. Yes. So it's just a fun way to advertise. In the 1970s, you had to find a way to appeal to different customers. That was also about the time that John Deere started slapping their name on everything from weed whackers and weed blowers or leaf blowers to pencils. So.
All right, this is John Curtis. He's driving a 1957 John Deere 420 High Tracks. It's a Dix High Tracks. This would have been used, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. John, to burn off stubble in the fields. Am I right? Okay, so the tank would have held propane and the back would have put out a flame and it would have burnt the stubble that was left in the field. So thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Jason Green on a 110. 1964 model, narrow front conversion with an 80 cart. Thank you, Jason, for coming. And the last parader of the day is Mr. Leroy with a 1950 MI. Thank you, Leroy, for coming. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow for the parade. Hopefully all 3 of us didn't confuse all of y'all with us announcing. Thanks so much.
There we got it. Hope you enjoyed different